Hi guys, hope you've been enjoying my recent videos on the Philippines. As you may know, I've been visiting Manila, Angelis City and Subic Bay. Now, I've been asked in the comments section quite a few times about bar girls and bar fine prices in this country. Well, I can only tell you about the places I've visited recently, and as this is my first visit to these particular towns, I can't really claim to be an expert, but I'll tell you what I know. Now, this is, of course, a subject that some people get very stirred up about. Unfortunately, you still get those people back home, UK or wherever, who insist that all the girls in these countries are dirt cheap, and if someone comes along and suggests different, they don't take too kindly to it. It's like as if I've just killed a dream for them. Well, always remember, these people who spout this kind of everything is dirt cheap BS probably haven't been here personally. Their info is more likely to be second hand or maybe years out of date. Like I said, I don't claim to be an expert on the Philippines, but I'm talking about a place I've travelled through last month, not 10 years ago. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, so let's start with Angeles City, which is a well-known nightlife area and has many, many working ladies. Now, as some of you who've watched my previous videos may know, it took me a while to get used to this place. Walking Street and Fields Avenue seem to have so many go-go bars, but not really the sort of beer bars like you would find in Thailand. So, what is the script with these go-go bars? Well, basically, they are bars where the girls supposedly dance on stage, or more often just stand there waiting for customers. You can bar find these girls, but there may well be some you can't, so you've got to establish all of this first before you make any monetary commitment. And it is a monetary commitment. What I mean is that you have to pay just about all the money up front before you take the girl out of the bar. The bar fine is not only the bar fine, as in the money you pay to the bar, but also includes the cost of the girl's services. This is different to Thailand, where you pay a bar fine and negotiate with the girl separately. Here in Angeles, the bar fine, including the girl's fee, is likely to be 3,000 pesos, which is 45 UK pounds and 60 US dollars. This is generally a long time price, and for that 3,000 pesos, you get your lady for the night. This is, of course, variable and depends on the quality of the establishment and the girl in question. There's always an element of you get what you pay for. Some rough and ready places with rough and ready ladies may charge less than this, whereas the higher end establishments will probably want more. This price, by the way, is generally similar in Subic Bay, and it's also worth noting that short-time ladies can be had for the 2,000 peso bar fine. As for lady drinks in these places, well, they are usually about 300 pesos each, which, if you just drink beer like me, will be a lot more expensive than your own drinks. So that's the price for bar fine, including the girl. It's actually not that different overall to somewhere like Cambodia. It may sound more than what you've heard, but it's still cheap compared to Western countries. The main difference here is the idea of paying such a large bar fine up front. Okay, so you paid your money, now let's go have some fun. But wait a minute, some of you may be thinking that's a big gamble, and I must admit I thought that as well. What if, after paying that money to the bar, the girl decides not to honour the deal? Does that happen? Paying that bar fine involves a lot of trust, so you better use your own judgment on that one. I didn't have a problem. The ladies I met turned out to be really good, but, of course, it's still something to think about. Now, I've mentioned these go-go bars in Angeles and Subic, but what about Manila? Well, Manila is, of course, the capital, and this is where things get a lot more expensive. During my stay in Manila, I ventured into these main bars in the well-known Burger Street area, and I must admit the quality of the ladies was a lot better than what I'd seen in the other places, but they were also a lot more expensive. Here, they appear to have a different system, but bar fines alone can be 2 or even 3,000 pesos, and then you have to pay the girl her money separately, which can be about the same, 2 to 3,000 pesos, depending on short time or long time. So you want to pull one of these glamorous dancing girls in Burger Street, and the prices for everything, including a bar fine, bar girls, and maybe throwing a few lady drinks. Well, you're talking maybe 6,000 pesos overall, which is 90 UK pounds or 120 US dollars for long time. That's expensive, although getting a girl from a go-go bar in Thailand will still cost you a lot more. Okay, so what if you're not a big spender and want to avoid some of these costlier bar fine establishments? Well, you were looking at freelancers mostly. Freelancers can be found in bars, nightclubs, on the street, or all over the place in areas like Angelis Walking Street area. You can even meet freelancers in McDonald's, and some of them can be really nice ladies. So, what is the going rate there? Well, freelancers are usually 1,000 to 1,500 pesos for short time. If you want long time, well, you've got to look at what the girl is likely to earn, so she is likely to charge a lot more for long time. This is, of course, a general view, and once again, it's a case of you get what you pay for. A really glamorous freelancer in a nightclub is going to try and get as much money as she can, and if you're not prepared to pay her, somebody else will. It's also worth noting that freelancers do, of course, carry a greater risk factor regarding safety. So remember, when back in your hotel room, take extra care of your valuables. Keep them safely locked away. So, up to now, I've talked about bringing girls back to your hotel for a bit of how's your father. But what if, for any reason, you cannot take them to your hotel room? Maybe you just want a bit of short-time action in a short-time establishment. Well, you can find these places in some of the side streets, especially around the Fields Avenue area. They serve beer and have private rooms where you can take the girls. The cost is likely to be 1,000 pesos of full-on action. Depending on the girl, of course, some may charge less or some may want more. But I have to say, the little bars I came across looked very rough, very ramshackle, and the girls, well, they didn't look that clean or that tasty. Anyone thinking Angeles as the equivalent of Bataya's Soy 6 is likely to be very disappointed. Another point I want to make, and it's a very serious point, is that some of these girls are not too bothered when it comes to using condoms. Some of them seem to have a relaxed, carefree attitude to safety and don't always insist on protection. Well, all as I can say is that if she says it doesn't matter, it's down to you to tell her it does matter, and if she hasn't got any rubbers, then make sure you brought your own. Okay, so this is the information I've gathered during my stay in these locations. Like I've said before, it is my first visit to these places and I don't claim to be an expert. I simply want to give you a rough idea of what it's likely to cost you to have fun with the ladies. I'm sure there are a few things I've overlooked. In Angelis City, I met a few people who told me to check out the Perimeter Road area. Some guys told me it's better value. I don't know, I never got around to it. Maybe you can tell me about that one. Another subject I haven't touched on is the subject of ladyboys. Well, if ladyboys are your thing, there are plenty of them around, especially in Angelis City and the Burger Street area of Manila. But how much are they likely to cost? Well, my answer is simple. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But like I say, there's plenty of them around, so if you like that sort of thing, well, go check them out. So, if you're planning a trip to these areas of the Philippines, then I hope that this has been useful to you. It may not be the most detailed report, but hopefully it's given you a good idea of what to expect. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because I've got a whole lot more info I want to share with you. Feel free to comment and share this video, and cheers.